Hey guys, FilmCrazyAdam here. To those of you that have just stumbled across this channel, I appreciate you rolling the dice and I hope you enjoy what you see. To those of you that continue to roll the dice for some reason, I really appreciate you coming back. I hope I can continue to entertain you, and I hope you continue to enjoy what you see. Anyway, pleasantries out of the way, let's get to the video that you really came to see. And here we are, once again, another episode of She-Hulk, another reason for me to start drinking. Well, where do you want me to go from here? It's the same song and dance, once again. Bad CGI, directing, acting, editing. I mean, there is one thing that is different in this episode. And it's not the episode, it's me. I've said it multiple times that it's amazing how each episode is getting progressively worse. I didn't think you could get worse from episode 4, and they succeeded and outdid my expectations with episode 5. And I thought you couldn't possibly get any further underground than this. And then with episode 6, they're like, stand back, we got a backhoe, we got shovels, we can go deeper. So like, at this point, not only, like, I'm way past disgusted. I'm way past demoralized. I'm way past my sanity snapping like a freaking Twix bar. No, at this point, I've developed some kind of sick fascination, almost on a masochistic level, to see how bad this can go. It's like, you've got 3 more episodes. Can you continue to top eat yourself? It's beyond imagining. It's beyond belief. It's beyond comprehension. The terribleness of this show. I've woken up with night terrors from bad dreams and not been as disturbed as I am at the end of each of these episodes. Where, like, I'm sitting through these episodes and I'm just like, and I'm questioning all my life choice. I'm like, what am I doing here? Like, people ask me to watch this, but, like, you know, if people ask me to jump off a bridge, would I do that? If people ask me to drink Drano, would I do that for, just because, for my YouTube channel? But again, here I am, and I'm so close. I'm 2/3 of the way through this complete shit show. So, like, I don't even want to see it through to the end at this point. It's, like I said, it's morbid curiosity. It's not healthy, what I'm doing watching this show. I walk around, like, dude, I marathon so many shows, like, before and after watching this, because, like, I need, like, I need to pregame before watching the show, and then I need a palate cleanser afterwards. Yeah, how is this, like, okay, let's get into the episode. Into the episode we go. Once again, let us do this dance of death that we do. Episode starts out, and Jen she has this gaudy as hell box. She opens it up, and she gets glitter bombed. And I'm looking at this box, and I'm like, wow, this is a bridesmaid, will you be my bridesmaid box? But inside, there's like a bottle of wine, and like the card says, well, duh, you will. I mean, that's not a little conceited. That's not a little narcissistic of the bride. I wonder if she's going to be a Bridezilla. Well, whatever. Moving on. Just roll with it. And so Nikki's there helping Jen pack. Why is Nikki there? I mean, I'm a big boy. Whenever I go out, whether it's to a wedding, because I've been to multiple weddings. I've been a groomsman at multiple weddings. I've been a best man once. And so, like, when I'm leaving for the weekend, not just for a wedding, but, like, if I'm going camping or if I'm just visiting another city, I'm a big boy and I can pack my own bag. I can pick out clothes for myself. I don't need somebody else here to help me pack to go away for the weekend. And again, it's just the weekend. She's not going on vacation for a month. She's going out of town for a wedding. So why is Nikki there? Other than to just gush about the fact that Jen has her new superhero suit, which is a polka dot dress. Yes, a top LA designer designed her superhero outfit, or not her superhero outfit, but an outfit designed for She-Hulk, and all it is a blue and white polka dot dress. And for some reason, Nikki is gushing all over this and going, "Oh my God, you're gonna be you're gonna be so hot in this dress." Wow, I am way more out of touch than I thought I was. See, I'm the guy who still thinks the little black dress is pretty sweet. I mean, that it hugs the female form. It accentuates parts of the figure, and I just think it's very attractive. But again, maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm the statistical anomaly and I'm way out of touch. Maybe polka dots are in, and I just missed the memo on this one. But Jen is gushing over it. Nikki's gushing over it. Let's get back to this thing about Nikki. Jen has just been invited for a wedding this weekend. Now, like I said, I have been a best man and I've been a bridegroom multiple times. And I think the latest that I was requested to partake in this wedding was about it was the better part of a year out, not 48 hours before the event. Like, even as a pinch hitter, even as somebody who as a substitute, even if you're like really far down, you're D-list substitute, 48 hours, like you're cutting it way too close to assume that anyone can make it. And yet Jen's like, "No, this is cool. No, that's fine." As if somebody was asking, "Hey, we're going to the lake this weekend. You want to come with?" Who is this person? Who is this person that's getting married? I don't know. It's never been mentioned before in the series, and that's something that you could have done as a writer if you were worth a shit. You could have actually dropped that in one or two previous episodes. You didn't even have to write dialogue for it. It could have just been something like Jen got a text message, or she saw a posting on Instagram or Facebook or something, and all you would see as the audience, she would get a notification and she'd pull it up on screen and it'd be like, "Wedding coming up," or it could be her friend showing the ring because she got engaged. You could have set this up, and so it wouldn't be so randomly out of the blue. It could have been something that actually made sense for once. And then and Jen's going on about "Oh yeah, we've been friends forever. We grew up together. We were in grade school and high school and this, that, and the other thing." And then Nikki even calls her out. It's like, "Well, when's the last time that you even spoke with this person?" And Jen's like, "I don't know. It's been quite a few years. We kind of fell out of touch, and I haven't talked to her in a long time."
Lulu's an old friend from high school.
We just gradually grew apart, and we don't talk anymore.
So why are you a bridesmaid?
But I feel like I feel like she's doing this out of obligation from our friendship from years ago. And out of obligation, I'll just say yes, because how do you say no to somebody asking you to be in their wedding party? Well, you just say no. I mean, if we're going to be as casual as, like I said, somebody's inviting you up to the lake for the weekend, and you're just going to say, then I'll say the same thing. I'll say just as casually as if somebody asked you, "Hey, you want to go see a movie this weekend?" Be like, "Nah, I'm good." You don't owe this person nothing. You haven't talked to them in years. Why? Whatever. Moving on. Just roll with it. I'm not even going to mention. I'm not going to even mention the fact that I'm mentioning it. She did the fourth wall break, and it's not an episode of She-Hulk until she does the fourth wall break, and it's always just so awkwardly just shoehorned into a scene. It's so jarring and just so badly done. Whatever, moving on. And Jen arrives on scene at the wedding venue, and she breaks the number one rule. I'm a guy, and I know the number one rule of every single wedding is that you never, ever show up the bride. You are not the center of attention. It is not your place to draw everyone's eyes. It is the bride's job. That is her day. It's her thing. Am I being a little overdramatic about it? Maybe a little bit, but let's not kid ourselves. It is a social faux pas to be the center of attention at somebody else's wedding. If you are the center of attention, it's not your wedding, you're an asshole. Everyone knows it. Jen shows up as a 7-foot-tall green mutant creature. Yeah. No. You did this on purpose. You're an idiot. God. Jen is just a stupid person. On many levels, she's a horrible person. all she does is whine and complain and make excuses. But at the same time, she's so narcissistic, and she's just all about me, and about, oh, why can't anyone love me for me? And oh, poor me who has this very successful job, very successful, high-paying job. She actually has a good life. You know, she has friends. She has family that love her. She has like I said, a high-paying job. You know, if you are a lawyer in a renowned law firm in Los Angeles, California, you are being paid very well. So you are doing fine financially. Again, family, friends, job, and you have these abilities. And all you can do is whine about it. Oh, I don't want to be known as She-Hulk. I don't want people to just think of me as She-Hulk. I don't want this, that, and the other thing. I just want them to love me for me. You want to be loved for you, and you don't want anything to do with She-Hulk. And yet, as soon as the going gets tough, you switch over to She-Hulk, and you start like, yep, here I am, I'm She-Hulk. Like, you can't do that. Stop talking out of both sides of your mouth. You're either in or you're out. And if you're in, stop using her as a way to get attention from others, because that's all she's been doing. Whenever she's She-Hulk, it's just to get attention. Whether it's an interview on TV, whether it's the dating app, whether it's just out in public. She's only used her actual strength abilities in the fights. That's all she's ever used her strength abilities, which she constantly goes on about, like, I don't want to be a superhero. I don't want to be associated with that. I don't want anyone to think of it like you have these powers, and yet you're just being a little bitch about it. You have these powers. You have these abilities, and all you can do is whine about it. God all freaking mighty. But anyway, she shows up dressed like that, and everyone is just going gaga over it. All the women are like,
wow, Jen, everything about you is just working. Your ass looks crazy right now.
oh, you look so great in that dress. Because, again, you know, polka dots are in. Remember that, ladies. And, of course, the bride is so pissed that she is twitching. And she pulls Jen aside, and she's like, why are you, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? You know, after the bride tells her, you do know that you're upstaging me, and she's understandably a little annoyed about this. You know, Jen in another fourth wall break tells the camera,
yeah, obviously this is the one time I didn't want to show up as just Jen.
she didn't want to show up as just Jen. Why? It's not your big day. Why do you care? Like, you've been whining and complaining for the last 5 episodes that you don't want to be She-Hulk, that you don't want to be associated with her, that you don't want people to just like you for She-Hulk, and yet that was the whole point of you in this episode, was showing up as She-Hulk so that everyone would love you. God, you need a therapist, something fierce. Crazy thing though, everyone knows that you kind of want to have two, you know, you want to have pairs of bridegroom and bridesmaids, you know, so it's evened out during the procession. And Jen doesn't have anybody. But don't worry, her couple is coming. He's on his way, so don't worry about it. He's coming. Switch back to the firm where there's evidently a divorce a hearing going on, or not a hearing, but this is the current case on file at the firm, is that there's a guy that's going through a divorce. His name is Mr. Immortal, and for some reason, it escaped. Like, I don't know. Mallory and Nikki don't seem to grasp what he's saying when he says his name is Mr. Immortal. I don't even want to talk about this. I mean, I don't want to talk about any of these scenes because they're so stupid. Like, where do I begin with this scene? So Nikki, for some reason, walks in and then sits down on this coffee table and actually has to be waved over by Mallory, like, you know, sit in a chair like a freaking adult. And then this guy's going on about how, well, I listened to this dialogue and you can tell that it was written by a woman. There is no way a man would write this dialogue. I mean, just listen to it. Listen, like, because men don't talk like this.
I'm a good guy. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but you know, inevitably, things go stale. But that is a tough conversation. I don't want to be married to you anymore. I find that you are emotionally suffocating me and you wear weird pajamas.
Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me that a man would ever write dialogue like that. I mean, it's just you could tell that this was written by a woman and that there was no input whatsoever. It just no. And then Nikki and Mallory proceed to just pick him apart. And instead of acting professional, which again, if you are a high-powered lawyer or like work at a firm of high-powered lawyers, you would have what's known as professionalism, where you would compartmentalize and you would ask somebody questions and start to build up a case because you know what? This person is paying you for this. And so your job as a lawyer is to be on his side and to help him come out on top in this scenario. But instead, all Nikki and Mallory do is just start like needling him and tearing into him. At one point, they just gang up on him and just start talking over him. Not like neither of them care what the other is saying. Neither of them care that he's even listening. And he does what I want to do at this exact moment. And he runs and jumps out the window. He lands and he quote unquote dies. But I mean, he doesn't die. He immediately gets back up. I mean, there's like a second or two where he's popping like limbs back into joints and everything. But he just gets up and walks away. Those windows should not be that easy to just run and just dive through like they're made out of tinfoil. So in the next scene, Titania shows up. It's such a stupid scene. It's so badly written. It's you know, Titania's here and it's so obvious. You know, the look on her face plus you just know because of how badly this show has been written already. She's there because she says she's a +1 and she just wants to be there and support Jen's friend, who I don't care what her name is, so I'm just going to keep calling her the bride or Jen's friend. She's there, and their entire point for Titania to be there, and it's so obvious, is that she's just there to F with Jen. That she's there to, like, pick a fight with Jen. I mean, of course, in this scene, it's so cliche, and it's so... I mean, she's just playing like the, oh, me, you know, the victim. Oh, me? Oh, I'm not here for you, Jen. I'm here just, you know, for the wedding party. I'm a +1. I'm here for the bride, and I just want her, and I'm just worried about her love, and or her eternal love with her groom. Which do we ever? I can't remember if we ever see the groom, honestly, in this whole episode. But whatever. I mean, it's so obvious to the audience, and it's obvious to Jen. Of course, Jen reacts like a character. I don't know how she reacts other than like over the top, just ridiculous. And so of course everyone's like, Jen, you got to dial it back. You're being weird and like, you know, Jen, why are you making this about you? But so the question comes up to me, which is, how did Titania know that she was going to be there? Like, this really is a long con, or not a long con, but like this is Titania's plan. I know it, you know it, everyone knows it, that she's there to pick a fight with Jen. She's gonna pick her time, and then she's gonna like jump Jen. She's gonna sucker punch her. We all know this. Why is she there? Like, how is she there? Like, how did she know that Jen was gonna be there? Jen didn't know she was gonna be there until like yesterday. So how did Titania know that she was gonna be there? And let's say Titania learned at the same time that Jen learned. How? It makes no sense whatsoever that Titania is there. She couldn't have possibly known, and even if she knew, how could she have planned to be invited to this wedding? It makes no sense. It makes no sense why she's there. I mean, nothing in this show makes any fucking sense. But anyway, so Jen walks outside. She's just going to be emo, and she's just going to eat her feelings. And then this guy just randomly comes out of nowhere. And this whole, everything that he says is just so weird, and it makes no, like, it runs counter to what he's doing.
Sorry, I know this is a little weird.
Oh, sorry.
I still haven't perfected the least awkward way to approach a stranger. Work on that for the next time I bungle another intro.
Cool. First thing he does is apologize to her, because, you know, that's how every man should approach a woman, is just apologize for their very existence, at least according to Hollywood leftists and the writers of this show. And, you know, he apologizes, and he talks about how he doesn't have the courage to talk to a girl, despite the fact that he has the courage and he's talking to a girl. And Jen is just so blown away that somebody is showing any kind of interest or kindness to her that she's like, yeah, man, come on over. Man, plus, I can't get over the fact that, like, this superhero clothing designer designed a dress, it's just a dress. you would think it's something like maybe like the stuff that Mr. Fantastic's outfit is made out of, which it expands to fit him, and then shrinks back to fit him. The guy made her a regular dress, so when Jen's not in Hulk form, it looks like crap on her. It looks like a burlap sack almost. But anyway, after this awkward conversation, or in the middle of this awkward conversation, the bride comes out.
Jen, oh my gosh, I'm so happy I found you. Half the event staff is quitting because of how I'm treating them. Do you think you could help me clean some stuff up around here, straighten up, take up some of these empties, tidy up?
What the hell is... Okay, so evidently she is being a bridezilla. She's being a complete bitch to the point that despite the fact that she paid the caterers, whoever's catering this event, she has... Despite having been paid, they are striking, they are leaving because she is that much of a bitch. And so, for some reason, she is now asking Jen to clean up. Could you clean up these dishes and these glasses? Because, people, for some reason, they're just leaving. I don't know why. They can't seem to stand me, so they're just leaving. So, could you clean up for me? Who does that? This is supposed to be an old friend of yours that you've known for years. And, your first thought is oh, yeah, if you could clean this up because, not hey, let's get together as a group and let's do this. No, we're just going to dump this all on you. Why did you invite her as a bridesmaid if you're just going to treat her like crap? And, not to say that there aren't awful people out there. There aren't awful women who do that. Let's face it. Men aren't the gender that invented the term frenemy. You're either a friend or you're an enemy. It's not both. Back in LA, back at the law firm, we have a very eclectic and diverse group of clowns that evidently Mr. Immortal had married. And I got to question the thing about the guy. Okay, so you've been alive for however many hundreds of years. I get it if you were younger and you wanted to experiment, but I feel like at age 500, you're pretty set in your ways. You should know what your preferences are at age 500. And somebody might say, oh, well, you could always change your mind. Fuck you. Shut up. There you go. There's your representation. There's your inclusion. There's your diversity. Here's the thing that I really don't get about this whole lineup of characters is that at age 500, you're telling me that this guy hasn't developed a preference? That he's lived for however many years, and that over that time he hasn't developed a thing for one specific style of person, like just blondes or just people of a certain ethnicity. Why is there such a diverse cast here of people? All sorts of different flavors and a guy. So of course we do. And Mallory is clearly not on this guy's side. He hired her to be his divorce lawyer, and it's not... Like I said, it's not even thinly veiled. There is no veil. That she does not have his best interest. That she does not have his back. That she is trying to screw him over as much as... And she even says, he even says, isn't this a little rough? And she's like, yes, and I like doing that. So she's coming across as a bit of a psychopath. Plus...
Not only did you fake your own death multiple times, you also forged multiple fake identities. Frankly, all of these spouses should be filing criminal charges. You are lucky you're not in prison.
Screw these idiot spouses. The government should be suing this guy. It's a federal crime to make false identities, and multiple ones at that. If you look in the scene, why are there, Secret Service agents dotted around this room? Why are there guards here? What is this? What the hell is going on here? But whatever. Back at the wedding venue, it's the next day. Jen comes in and God, this bridesmaid dress that she's wearing, why is it big on her? It wasn't designed by the superhero guy, by the superhero costume guy. So why is she wearing a dress which I think we're supposed to believe it's designed for She-Hulk, but why? Why would it be designed for She-Hulk? Again, I guess it's amazing that Jen even has a dress, unless, Jen was a pinch hitter, and, this was for, the duff in the group. And so, here, Jen, this is the only dress that we've got. So, and she runs up, and the other girls are like, hey, you're on ironing duty, right? And Jen's like, wait, what? And I'm like, wait, what? She goes on about, oh yeah, the guys are playing Mario Kart and they got their shirts are rumpled. How? I play Mario Kart. You know, my shirt doesn't get run. Like, what the hell? It's a game that you play on the Switch. It's not like actually going out and doing something. And she's like, oh, you know, it's a video game and a video game is sport. It's not a sport. No, it's not a sport. Are there leagues? Yeah. There's also Magic the Gathering leagues. And I wouldn't call that a sport. And she just hands her shirts. And so, like, I don't know. Or, like, why would Jen have an iron? Why would she know, like, I guess in her hotel room? But, like, are they really expecting her to, like, go back to her hotel room, wherever that is, and iron shirts? And, like, why aren't they doing it? Why are they just dumping everything on Jen? Again, I don't know if this is, like, you're supposed to be good friends with the bride. Why is she shitting on you so much? Why is everyone just... You know, and these were the girls that were like, oh my God, Jen, you look like when she arrived as She-Hulk, like, oh my God, you look amazing. You look awesome. And they were just going gaga over her. And that's it. That's the scene. Meanwhile, back at the law firm, and you know what? It's just a continuation of the scene prior, where all the ex-wives and the guy are going on about how much that, like, they basically being little bitches themselves and, like, whining and complaining and just being materialistic and, like, why, you know. The guy even said, look, I got all these stocks in Apple from when they first became a thing. Plus I have gold from somebody when, so he's got a fortune. And instead of saying, and he's like, I'm willing to give it to you. And instead of everyone saying, yes, we could all leave here as millionaires. No, they're bitching and whining and complaining. And, like, why? Like, I mean, isn't that the point of a divorce, is to get money from the other person? I mean, plus, let me ask you, okay, so we've established that he can't die, but somehow, like, we are led to believe that he died and then didn't just get up and walk away, which is what he did when he jumped out of the window onto that car. He does. There isn't a period where he dies and then has to regenerate. He just, you know, parts of his body, like, break, and then he puts them back together. The guy that he was married to evidently talks about how he accidentally ate a cyanide pill and died. How do you accidentally eat a cyanide pill? Where do you even get those? But evidently he accidentally ate a cyanide pill and then died, and then somehow the guy, the husband, missed the fact that he just got up and walked away. Like, none of these, like, it makes no fucking sense. It literally makes no sense. Back at the wedding, which we just jump over the wedding part and go right to the reception. And what is this? What is this? What in God's name is it?
It's your boy, DJ Incredible.
And then Jen is thinking along the same lines that I'm thinking about right now, which is I'm just going to go get drunk as hell because this is just garbage. And so she goes to the bar, which, all right, I've never been to a wedding that the bar wasn't included. Like, yeah, you throw in tips and stuff, but I mean, like, the bar's covered. So now we have a few minute long sequence of some of the worst dancing, and she's supposed to be drunk, but, like, wow, what a great way to showcase your main character is that she's sad, that she's pathetic, that she's woe is me all the time. And so her answer to these things is not to try and, like, find the upside or try to be a little bit chipper or, you know, like, you know, try something inspirational as a main character. No, her answer is just to get cronked. And that's that. That's that scene. Back at the law firm, we are getting, you know, this is the fastest mitigation I have ever seen for a divorce. This all happens in a day. I personally have known people that had a divorce that went on for years before a settlement was reached. And that's just, you know, one person who's married to one other person. We have 9 people this time, because in the last scene, I double checked this, only had 8 people. And my God in heaven, the leftist Hollywood people, their hearts are fluttering with this scene, because look at this swath of diversity. Because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 black women, and we have 1, 2 white women. Because you know what? I think that other woman is Latino. And then now we have an Indian woman. Holy crap, where did she come from? And of course, the white male. And Nikki, again, being the absolute professional that she is sitting crisscross on the table instead of in a chair, and she is going over everything and what's going to be divvied out to all these angry women and guy. And one of the women doesn't even want money. She just wants an apology with uninterrupted eye contact for 15 seconds.
Yes. You are going to receive a sincere apology with the meaningful eye contact. Lasting at least 15 seconds.
What am I watching? What the f is this? And like, why is Nikki doing this? Why is the paralegal assistant doing this and not the actual lawyer? Why is Mallory sitting back while Nikki does all the work? Meanwhile, back to the wedding, Jen is cronked as hell, and she is talking to the guy again, and it's going well. And even then, it's like, what am I listening or what am I watching here? Like, this conversation is so unrealistic. And at one point, Jen even says, like, hey, man, I need you to come in. I need you to lean in so I can whisper something. And she, like, leans her ear towards him as if that's what she talks out of, as opposed to her ass. And then the most obvious thing happens. All that alcohol that she's drunk and then tried to dance afterwards, it all comes back up. So she runs outside, she blows chunks. And then, out of nowhere, surprise! Titania is there, and she sucker punches Jen, who goes flying. Oh! Oh! Didn't see that coming. And so, Titania, you know, it's just pathetic. Jen's just this drunkard. She's swinging. She's slurring her words. I mean, it's just so pathetic. And even Titania's like, come on. Like, this isn't what I want. I wanted to fight She-Hulk. And Jen had promised earlier in the episode that she would not transform into She-Hulk. And she even says, like, come on, you know, this isn't even, you know, like, this is a wedding. Why are we doing this? And Titania will not be outdone because she is determined to humiliate Jen in public. And so Jen finally says, fine, despite the fact that I promised my longtime friend that I wouldn't do this, I'm gonna do this. And she transforms into She-Hulk. I mean, at first she kind of screws up on it. It doesn't take. And so she does it again. Then a fight breaks out. You know, they're outside. Jen brings the fight inside. This is one of those things that, like, another thing that pisses me the hell off about this show is that Jen, whether she wants to believe that she's She-Hulk or not, whether she wants to believe she's a superhero or not, she is. The writers did not write a superhero as a superhero. I mean, not even as a reluctant hero. Like, arguably, I mean, like, Spider-Man was a reluctant hero. He didn't want to do anything with his powers. And then he realized he had to, you know, great power, great responsibility. He's like, you know what? I got these powers. I should do something with them. Like, She-Hulk is the antithesis of that mentality. Spider-Man and other heroes would be like, you know what? Let's not bring the fight to where the crowd of people is. Let's not bring it into the middle of a gathering of other people. You know, let's get this fight away so that we don't hurt anybody, that we don't accidentally kill anybody. But no! Jen kicks Titania into the wedding party, and then they proceed to fight. Now, it's one of the more pathetic fights I've ever seen, and it's basically a repeat of the fight in the courtroom where Jen just punches Titania. She flies backwards into a waiter who drops some ice, and then Titania goes to attack Jen, slips on the ice, and smashes her face into the ground and loses her teeth, or she's got, like, jacked up, like, British people teeth now. And it is, like, the most pathetic thing where she's like, you know, it's like a supervillain, like, I'll be back for you. You know, you haven't heard the last of me. And for some reason, she takes the cake. Like, God. But anyway, and then the bride comes in. And despite the fact that she was pissed that Jen showed up as She-Hulk in the beginning of this episode, now she loves the fact that She-Hulk is here.
Oh my God. She-Hulk is at my wedding. Yeah. I love you so much.
Maybe it has something to do with the fact that she's completely shit-faced. But, you know, and that's great. This episode just paints women in just the most flattering light. You know, Jen is a narcissist. The bride is a narcissist. All the ex-wives are narcissists. You know, everyone is so materialistic and only thinks of themselves and doesn't think of people's feelings, or, you know, they're not empathetic or sympathetic. Just, they're awful. Like, why would the writers do this? like the first few episodes was just, we hate men. I mean, they hate men in this episode too. They never ever pass up the opportunity to hate men. That's it. You know, back to the wedding party and everyone dances. Cut back to the firm, and you've got Nikki and Mallory who are hitting it off way better than Jen and Mallory in the previous episode. And there was a website called Intelligeni. I don't remember what it was called, but some website where it's angry memes, but specifically misandry. They're just now checking it out. And so while on the website, they see that there's stuff for She-Hulk. And for some reason, it's really complex to actually make a user ID for this website, but they finally manage it. And they go in and they see it's like Twitter in the sense that like it's just a place where people make memes and they shit on people, you know, like most of the internet. And so Nikki's like, oh my God, we got to tell Jen all about this. And Mallory's like, no, it's just an internet site that where people just shit on people, like Reddit. There's no point in telling Jen this. Why? Because they're just a bunch of trolls. It's harmless. Nothing's gonna happen. And Nikki's like, but they're sending death threats. It's like, no, they're not. They're posting like angry things. No one has actually contacted Jen or contacted the office and sent a death threat. So literally, there's nothing here. There's nothing. There's no issue here. And if we tell her about it, it's just gonna mess with her day. It's just gonna bring her down. It's gonna give her something that kind of messes with her headspace, and it serves no good purpose to actually do this. So don't tell Jen about this. The very next scene.
It's called Intelligentsia, and it's all of these like memes and death threats, okay? But Mallory said not to tell you because, she said it would just make you feel bad and we should protect your headspace and let you live your life, but I mean, obviously I didn't do that.
Oh my God. Nikki has now shot to the _1 spot on the most horrible person in this show. Cut back to Jen. She's having French fries with the guy. Cut from there to a lab where there's a drill. I think this is supposed to be, since the needle that the construction guys tried to stab Jen with didn't work, like we're getting a higher gauge needle, and it goes in this case that has a radiation symbol on it, and that's the episode. Daredevil? Nope, no Daredevil in this episode. Yep, they showed you the helmet at the end of last episode with the implication that guess who's going to be in this episode and guess who wasn't in this episode. And this is another episode that no overarching story, nothing that sets us apart from or makes us fit in with any other episode. This could have been episode 2 or 3, but for some reason it was episode 6. Nothing about this show connects or is worth it. It's just garbage. At this point, I'm not expecting Daredevil to show up until episode 9, and even then, it'll just be in the last couple of minutes. I don't even know if he'll have a speaking part. But, God. I'm actually getting a headache. This episode, followed by this review, has actually, like, really, really raised my blood pressure. So I'm going to go get some Advil, lie down. I keep kicking the can of Rings of Power down the road. I know that like 5 episodes are out now, so I'm going to get that stuff out too. Anyway, that's all I got for now. Talk to you later. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, please hit like and subscribe. It'd be greatly appreciated. If you didn't like what you saw, well, I appreciate you watching all the way to the end, and I hope you come back because maybe I'll have a video in the future that you do like. Other than that, if anyone out there has anything that they wish that I would review, please let me know and I'll try and get to it. Other than that, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.